arrives a moment where I feel separate from everything, everything and everybody, my family, my friends, la especie humana. Sí, something like that. I start feeling united well, and then I start feeling separated of everything again. I always go back to the same spot. And it's not comfortable, the feeling is not nice. And I don't know where it's coming from. So I want to ask you about it.
You know, this is a classic behavior. It's of a child. We separate because we feel misunderstood, different, non-appreciated, and it always takes us into a feeling of victim. On some level, we feel like a victim, and it's an immature place. And you need to be comfortable with it, go into it, but recognize it. It's like this special place. Nobody understands me. I'm sure I'm adopted. I don't understand my family. Everything's weird. You know, and it's a victim place. And you need to see that because it generates suffering. Because it's not true. Everything you want is the opposite. But you create that to feel like a victim. And that's an addiction. This is my victim. And if you've been feeling it for a long time, it's because of that. You know, for all of my life, I have this feeling. You know, when I was a child, I used to run away from home in the night. I'd jump out the window and I'd run away from home. I'd go and find some campo and animals. And then I'd come back, climb in the window, and come home. But I always had this feeling of wanting to run away. And there was nothing happening. Why? Why did I do that? I don't know. But it was a place where I created separation of not belonging. And running to a place where I felt like I belonged. But was it different, that place? No, it was just an idea in my head. And all children have that. You know, if something happens, they go and hide in their bedroom, or, you know, I was a little bit more athletic. I could go 10 kilometers. You know, but most people have that. Nobody understands me, I don't belong. And it might not even be something conscious, but it's a feeling. And it's the victim. And the victim always creates separation, conflict, division, difference. It has a group that's loving and complete. And you'll create something so you're different to them. So you feel like a victim. And it happens in the family unit. It happens at work. It happens to all people. That not being understood, not feeling loved. But what is it? It's a cry for love. It's an immature way of trying to create love. But we actually create the opposite. And then we feel like a victim. It's a way to get attention emotionally. And when we don't get it, we feel like a victim. And I'm sure all of you do this on some level throughout your life. Or no? Yeah, of course. Everyone can identify with that. Everyone. You know, Annie used to hide under the table. I don't know where you used to hide. But when you have that feeling, you have to push yourself to walk towards the separation. And then you start to heal that feeling.
During these days, I had memories related with how noble I was with people and how they took advantage of me. And I see that around me happens that a lot. Happens to my dad, my auntie too, and they are very good people, and people take advantage of them, of that goodness. How to strengthen that nobleness from the heart without the other ones taking advantage of that. Like being able to put limit. Yes, still
You know,
here.
your integrity defines you. What other people do with it is their responsibility. You don't have to modify anything, but you can't become a victim. You know, I give, and they take advantage. But you know that. So you have to decide that there's a limit or not. But it's defining you. Don't feel like a victim because you know before you start. You see people very clearly. You probably create the same people everywhere. And it's a constant thing in your life. But does that mean that you stop giving so people don't take advantage? People take advantage of me all the time. I'm so soft. I drive everyone crazy. Annie wants to kill me. Maria Laura wants to kill me. Because I'm like this pathetic thing that says, oh, give them another chance. It's okay. And they're like, no! And I'm like, okay, you guys decide. But it's my nature. And it was the nature of my parents. But it also defines me, my capacity to give. But you can't feel like a victim. You can't feel like a victim. And you have to see that. Is it integral? Or is it a place where you just open yourself up so you feel unappreciated? I mean, I'm very clear when I do it. I know when people are going to take advantage before I do it. But it's like that. But that's their choice. What I do is my choice. Do you understand the distinction? And the word noble, I don't know if that's the right word. You know, to be noble. Think about it. It's about your integrity and how you want to define yourself in the action of giving. Yeah? And if people don't appreciate it, that defines them. If they take advantage, that defines them. But it shouldn't be affecting you.
Hi. In the fifth portal, the facets mention Christ. And I have no idea what is the Christ. Can you talk about?
What are you talking about? You don't know what Christ is. Are you Jewish? Do you celebrate Christmas? And Easter? Yeah? No. I'm talking about Christ consciousness. It's Jesus, el Cristo. The Christos es conciencia. You understand? Siddhartha, the Buddha. Jesus, the Buddha. It's the same thing. It's defining the consciousness level. I'm talking about Christ consciousness. I could talk about Buddha consciousness. I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about the level of consciousness. Consciencia Christica. Christ consciousness. Yeah? Enlightenment. I'm talking about enlightenment. Yeah?
want to share an experience I had in the witnessing this morning. I arrived with some anxiety, and it happens also same. I saw the image of Christ and the in the cross, Jesus. And then in a moment, as if I fall asleep, and then I felt the energy of all of us. And then I saw Christ but dressed, and I felt so much peace. And at some point when we opened our eyes, I was feeling the trees, my energy very, very present with everything, with nature. And I loved it. And I was able to hold the experience after the witnessing. My question is, why? When I do the consciousness exercise upstairs, for example, I cannot get so to those level of consciousness. And what do you recommend to sustain that energy and to get to those levels of consciousness when I do that exercise for myself?
Firstly, I'm not there. I was in the bosque, you know, and I've got a direct line to Jesus, you know. And I just said, come on, buddy, come here and give us a hand. You know, you need to understand something. With that energy, you're exalting. It's not a permanent state. And it will never be a permanent state. It's an exaltation, which is very nice, but you won't live there. What's happening upstairs is more stable. It's more concrete. And that's what you want to live. You can't live in a state of exaltation where you're seeing energies in the trees and everything's la la landia like you're having mushrooms or LSD. Not that I know, I've never done it. Yeah? You need to have just a constant expansion of love, and that's perpetual consciousness. So don't confuse exaltation with a higher level. Just enjoy it and let it go. Nice, but it's not ever going to be permanent because you can't live in that energy. Because the truth is, you're out of your body. Okay? But nice, you know, it's nice to see all those things. Some people see things, some people don't. Some people feel things, some people don't.
About the meeting we had a moment ago, I was telling you about my relationship with food, my problems with it. I feel very strong the need of discover where it's coming from, where is coming from that addiction to food that will help me.
Okay, I'll tell you where it is coming from. It's your separation from yourself. You're not complete within yourself. You haven't healed the separation. And that's why you're looking externally. You look for something to bring you into a space of peace. Be it addiction to relationships, smoking, drinking, sex, food, all, gambling, whatever. It's an escape from self. And you're trying to fill that emptiness with something that is illusionary. Why do I call it illusionary? Because it's not permanent. Consciousness has the opposite movement. It moves out. It's abundant. It doesn't experience lack. It loves itself unconditionally, and it doesn't want to abuse itself. Physically, emotionally, on any level. Okay? So it's the root stress of separation, of fear. Yeah, that's all. But it's not a special addiction. Nearly all humans have that addiction. You know, the minute you cry, mummy sticks something in your mouth. Why do you think smoking was so successful? Because it was a same thing. Yeah, food. Oh, I feel uncomfortable. And it's like I said to you, you need to recognize when you're hungry or if you're just anxious. This is the difference. Because anxiety, we're always looking for something to put in our mouths. Because from the time we were this big, that's what happened. Yeah? So it's just separation from self. But once you start loving yourself and experiencing permanent consciousness, you don't want to do things that are destructive. You want to do things that nurture your being, that nurture the house that you're living in.
In my healing process, I want to know how can I do to be softer and more loving with myself. I received a reflection that I'm too hard sometimes.
Well, your face is softened completely. So obviously you're finding a place of nurturing instead of that exigence. And you just have to keep letting go. You need to just see it. When you're being violent with yourself, when you're not appreciating yourself. For some people that are so rigid, the greatest healing process is just to love yourself. And when you hear that voice, you know, that voice provokes a fear. If I don't listen to the voice, I'm not going to succeed in what I want. And that's the trick of the ego. Because the ego that's saying if you don't change this or you don't do this or if you're not better at this, you'll never reach your goal, no? And that's the trick of the ego. Because it's that voice and this response that's pushing you away from what you want. You know, if you would acknowledge yourself as someone rigid, someone exigent, that's the first thing you have to let go of. And be soft. Be loving. Think of a child. How would you treat a child? Treat the child within you. Are you going to be violent with the child? Why can't you walk? You've tried twice. It only took me one time. No. You're going to be loving, no? Come on, you can do it. That's good. We can do this 100 times. You know, in order to go forward in life, you have to fall. You're so athletic. Mummy's so proud. Daddy's so proud. Why can't you be like that with yourself? Good boy, good girl. Good, good, good. I think that's how you train kids. No, that's how I train dogs. Good boy, good girl. Pee pee poo poo, pee pee poo poo. Fuck. Afuera, pee pee poo poo, afuera. Yeah. You understand? Yeah.
Yesterday, I connected with a memory that in therapy I had it before. When I was very little, 3, 4 years old, I was in the classroom and professors asked to be in couples, in partner, and I like a boy. And I went, I said, I will do it. I think he was Felipe. And I seated with him, and I was with a little skirt, and all my companions laugh at me. And I can see that from there on, I always felt ashamed to be obvious I like somebody, or even being in a relationship or going out with somebody, to show myself with my friends with that person in a public place. So, what is that place of shame?
Well, you've just seen it. And you have to connect with that. And let it go. You know, if you can see it, you have to go deep into the feeling. And also, the thing is, it's about image. Because we're afraid of rejection. That's where it comes from. So where does the fear of rejection come from? I'm not good enough. Because if you love yourself and you trust yourself, how you feel towards someone, their response doesn't define you. You should never inhibit yourself from being loving because you want something in return. You have to love from a place of freedom. And how do you do that? By loving yourself, by freeing yourself, and taking a risk. You know, you have to jump in and enjoy that. You know, how many people spend their whole lives wanting something or someone and don't have the courage to speak their truth, and the other person's doing the same thing? It's so many Hollywood movies. So you have to heal you so that you're free to be you. You know, anyone that takes an airplane pillow to the witnessing isn't very shy. Really.
How can I see when I'm taking a decision from my head or from consciousness?
It's really simple. When you're clear, there's no question. If there's a question, it's coming from your head. If I'm clear about something, I'm clear. If you're clear, you're clear. You might jump into your head because then you get insecure and you have to ask everyone. How do you do that now, like this? I'm still holding an old telephone, you know. Or you have to ask someone. Yeah? But you need to know when it comes like this, it's clear. And you also have to remember, you can't make a mistake. You know, that doubt always comes because of a mistake. But the journey's the goal. The journey's the goal. Because you're going to enjoy, you're going to discover, you're going to grow. You can't make a mistake. You can't make a mistake. So you have to let go of that idea too. You know, and don't listen to everything. Don't become don't transform yourself into the consequences and the belief systems of other people's negativity. You have to trust in you. You have to trust in you. You know, how often do we do that? We have a clear vision, and then we hear the negativity, and we become the negativity. The doubt comes. You just have to be clear. And no, I cannot make a mistake. All I can do is have an experience. And sometimes you have to have many experiences to achieve what you want.
Sometimes I find myself hooked with my judgments and my ideas, and I resist to let go, even if I see. My question is how to do to go deeper beyond that superficiality.
It's good that you're saying that, because they're a protection. We have our ideas and belief systems, we get attached to them because they're like a security net. my ideas, my beliefs. But the irony is that there's billions of them. They're like stars, and everyone has a different one. So when you put your security in that idea, it's just an idea. It's not real. There's a billion ideas. But when you put your security in your consciousness, it's permanent because it's real. And it's one in everything. The love consciousness. And this is a protection not to commit to this, not commit to loving yourself, but the need to keep your ego strong and to be right. My idea, my belief system, this is right, that is wrong. And what's it based in? It's eternally based in duality. Because there's always a right, a wrong, and some little grey part in between, which is full of compromise. But consciousness, let's go. Let's go of the idea, let's go of the judgment, let's go of the belief systems. And the quicker you can drop everything, no matter how enlightened you think the thought is, or how good it is, or how noble it is, the quicker you can do that, you open to be a pure vibration of love. And that's freedom. Yeah? And that's the end of the Darshan.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.